Hello and welcome back to Grapple Theory. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And today we're joined by a very special guest. She's one of the most intimidating wrestlers on BritWres at this very moment. She's one half of the Pretty Little Killers, so you know she's good with a baseball bat. We'll be talking about her singles career, her tag career, what's to come in the future, some surprising revelations, including one about her hero, a WWE superstar you might not expect. We'll talk all that and much more. We're delighted to welcome Ivy to Grapple Theory. Ivy, thanks so much for joining us. Talk to me about how you're doing. How's everything going? How are things now that life is getting back to normal?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Just weird back to normal, isn't it?
It's weird, isn't it? Like nothing happens for so long, and then you have this like spike where everything's really normal again. And you're like, oh, how do you deal with it?
I went to a concert last night.
Did you? Who did you see?
Genesis.
Nice.
There's so many people around me. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
So weird.
No, I know what you mean. Me and my partner have been to a few since concerts have been open again, and we come back, and then like a couple of days later, we're seeing family or something. So we do a COVID test, and we're like, "How have we not got anything?" Like,
yeah. I know. At one point, I put my mask on because I was a bit like, I don't know why. I just didn't feel comfortable.
No, it's weird, isn't it? No, we've been doing exactly the same. Like, you're like, oh, there's so many people like breathing on me. You just feel safer with it on now.
Yeah, well, it was sold out, but because they've had to reschedule, there were some spare seats, and luckily there was like me and my mom, and then there was 3 seats to one side of me that were empty, and 2 at the other side, and they were like the only empty seats in the entire of our block, and I was like, this is great. Plenty of space.
Well, I mean, obviously, we'll get on to wrestling because, you know, I don't know how you'd have time to go to like gigs and stuff and do like other activities because you just seem like manic at the minute. You're on so much. I see you on so many like show posters and everything, and then I assume you like work during the week as well.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's because fitting the gym in as well. So it's like I ideally need to go to the gym. I'll have 1 rest day a week, which is normally a Wednesday, hence why I'm here today.
Sure.
But I've had to have 2 this week because I have to. I needed to go with my mum. I couldn't leave her on her own. So it's just, you know, you've just got to be smart about it sometimes.
Yeah. So you're an evening gymmer then?
Yeah, evening gym.
Is that after work?
Gym. Yeah. So I can work any hours I want really, but I tend to work like till 9 till 5 or around that, and then gym straight after, back home and try and squeeze some sleep in.
Busy day.
Yeah.
Are you a good sleeper though? Because like I know for me, like I'll be in bed at like an hour, like trying to sleep for an hour before I even go to sleep.
I'm quite good. I can fall asleep quite quick, but I don't get enough sleep, so I'm not in bed till like 1 o'clock, and then I'm up again at 7:30.
Right. Gotcha.
It's not enough sleep. And then everyone else is like, you catch up the weekend. And I'm like, actually, I get way less sleep at the weekend.
yeah, no, exactly. Like you're like, oh, I can sleep in more, but then you stay up later anyway. And you're like, I've not made up anything at all.
Yeah. Well, especially with having shows and stuff as well. Like you get in at, you know, like 12, 1 o'clock. And then you can't just get in bed because your brain's still going. So you can't. And then you're back up on a Sunday at 10 o'clock for the next show. And it's just like, oh, just not slept.
And with mixing that in with sort of like, you know, like we said, you know, going back to things being normal, in terms of like work and everything, did going back to shows, whilst enjoyable, did it sort of add to that? Because you're like, oh, these things are back that I was haven't done for a year, and all of a sudden my weekends are packed again.
Yeah, it's so weird because like before you were doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was like that was the norm. So you would just do 3 shows at the weekend, work my normal job, you know, jobs are good, but as soon as I did 1 show on the first weekend back, I was like, I can't do this. How did I ever get through my life living like this? So it was a shock.
Yeah, absolutely. And you sort of talk about it there, but like with work and everything, were you working during the whole pandemic as well? Were you able to?
Yeah. So I work for a bank, so they sent us home. I don't have any customer facing stuff, so it's all like back office stuff. So they sent us home in March of 2020, and then I've been at home ever since.
And then when you go back to like working in office or, you know, in the bank or whatever, you can always just take the baseball bat with you, right? I imagine.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's messing with me because they all know about it. So
just if you don't want any people coming up to you that day, just like have it right there.
That's it. Yeah.
No one's going to come near you. Oh no, I'll avoid that.
No.
But that's good because no.
I'm sure there's people have seen various pictures of me at work, so they know what I'm up to in my spare time.
And we've been talking to wrestlers about that, and that's why the reason I ask is just because we've spoken to so many people that it's so important now. I think the pandemic has put into perspective like that ability to have a backup if you can't be doing, say wrestling or whatever it is, if you're in a band or whatever that you do part time, to have that backup that, when something like this happens, you have an option.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, we'd all love to do wrestling full time. Don't get me wrong. If I could, I'd be doing it full time. I wouldn't have to have a shoot job. But unfortunately, I've got a mortgage to pay, and I need to make sure I can pay it. Before I started working at the bank, I went to uni, so I've got a degree and stuff as well. So it's just making sure you've got something to fall back on if touch wood, you won't ever need it, but if you do, there's something else there to pay the mortgage.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk about wrestling coming back because, we talked about the sort of hectic schedule, but how has it been? How have you been enjoying getting back into shows?
I love it. It's tiring, don't get me wrong. I'm knackered all the time, but it's back to doing what we love and what we want to do. So, that's been great. Seeing everyone, it's like you've not had any time away from them. It's just gone back to normal. So yeah, it's been great.
And I suppose something I'm not really thought of, to be honest, which is weird that I haven't, but it must show that you love it that much because of the fact that you're working a 9-to-5 job throughout the week. You fit in your gym sessions, and then you're committing your weekends to travel, doing the show. If it's a long distance show, maybe like having to stay over and whatever, and then traveling again. Like that's a huge commitment to take out of already working 5 days a week.
Yeah, I don't think people realise how taxing the travel can be. That's sometimes the worst part of it because you can be in completely different areas of the country. I used to do the Fierce Female shows on a Sunday night, which is in Scotland, in Glasgow, and that's a 5-hour car journey there and a 5-hour car journey back. So I was getting back at 3-4 in the morning and starting work at 8 o'clock. So you're just absolutely knackered. But people, they think you turn up at the show, you do your one match, and then you go. But actually, you've got hours and hours of travel, sitting in cars, and my back always feels like it's going to break because I'm always in the car. It's a massive commitment.
And as someone who, I guess, as someone who lives up north, because I'm based in London myself, so I'm not like I know the scene, I know the promotions, but I can't say I managed to get up there a lot. But, I see you on posters for all of those sort of shows, Manchester, Liverpool, things like that. It must be nice to have that, even though it's travel, even though it's still a few hours, to be in that sort of really good catchment area. Because for me, that area, Yorkshire, Liverpool, Manchester, that whole area has really come on leaps and bounds in the last few years, wrestling-wise.
Yeah, so even when I first started 5 years ago, there wasn't that much around. There was a lot of training schools. And lots of training school shows, but not much else for us. A lot of the shows were sort of down London way towards you, but recently, like you say, they've just popped up out of nowhere, and there's all these sort of big quality shows that everybody's working towards and getting on, and it's great to have them all. I say so close, but it's within a few hours, which is not too bad. It's better than a 5-hour car journey there and 5-hour back, but so it's really sort of come out of nowhere, the northern scene, and it's great to be involved in it.
And I was going to sort of lead on from that, like, do you have any reason as to why that might be, or why it's all of a sudden just popped up? Because like you say, there are a ton of schools, but there weren't that many promotions in that area, and now it seems like there's so many.
I think it's a testament to the local schools and the sort of the quality of the training and the teaching at the local schools, because as obviously the schools pop up and people are trained, they'll move on and do the sort of bigger shows, and then you've got more talent to use, and then when you've got more talent to use that are local, it's cheaper to run the show. So I think it is really a testament to the quality of the training that is available up north. Not that there's not good training elsewhere, there's just there's lots of schools locally that are still even now popping up with good trainers and good facilities.
And something that intrigued me, we last week I spoke to Amira Blair, and that's going to be coming out this weekend. But we spoke to her, and she talked about how in Ireland, when she was learning, starting to go through training and everything, it felt like there was this very north-south divide in the country in terms of who worked where and wrestling schools, and you sort of stuck to your area. Not necessarily sticking to your area, but does it feel the same in BritWres for you? Does it feel like there's sort of a divide between North and South? Not like a rivalry, but like a, not an us and them sort of thing, but you know what I mean? Like a wanting to be better than down South.
Yeah, I think there maybe used to be, but I don't think there is now. I think there used to be sort of, right, you guys work in the north and you guys work in the south, and you never had much crossover. But because of all the changes that have gone on in BritWres, there seems to be a lot more sort of mixing, and you get to meet and work people you maybe haven't had opportunities with before because of location. So it definitely feels like something has changed in the last few years. Like you said, I don't think it was ever a rivalry. Everybody was, wanting to make the scene as good as it can be. But there's definitely more opportunities to meet and work with people from different areas of the country now.
Awesome. No, that's great to hear. And with your career specifically, I mean, we'll talk about the last sort of couple of years, I guess, since maybe just before the pandemic to now. Obviously, with the pandemic happening, a lot of wrestlers took opportunities they were given to maybe go full time, go to things like NXT UK and abroad for wrestling, which is obviously great for them, and we love that as fans of wrestling. Everyone thinks that's amazing. But does that open a gap for wrestlers like yourself, like Ruby, like Brady, like the ones coming through, Luke Jacobs and Ethan Allen, and all the youngsters coming through to sort of to make a name for yourself now, because people are looking for holes to fill those names that left.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. You can see that there's definitely gaps to fill, and I think since we've come back, people are more open to finding new talent and seeing sort of who's been doing. A year is a long time, so although it's a year without shows, it's a year to work on yourself and to work on your wrestling and characters and promo ability. And it was a year to basically do whatever you want to do to work on. So I think people are much more, they're willing to embrace the newer talent nowadays. And there is, luckily for us, the gaps there where people have sort of moved up. And I think you can definitely see, sort of when you look at talents on the card, you've got like a couple that are now sort of breaking through and getting those bigger spots. So there's definitely been a shift and a change in who you'll see in the top spots of most of the match cards nowadays. But it's all good. It's good, people have moved up and they're doing. Like I say, we'd all love to work wrestling full time if possible. So good for those guys that have got the contracts, and good for us that haven't, because it's given us more opportunities.
Absolutely, and that's the thing, isn't it? Because we talk to a lot of wrestlers on the show about this, about the fact that you'll see on Twitter when a big name, a big UK name, a Pete Dunne or a Tyler Bate or someone signs for NXT UK or something like that, there'll be the whole talk of, oh, BritWres is dead because these big names have gone, and so the scene's going to go with it. But the past before them has shown that's not the case, and the future now with guys like yourself and the names we already mentioned and so many more show that that's not going to be the case again, because you've got this talent coming forward. It's just only if people are not going to be willing to give them a chance and go and see them that it's going to die.
That's it. Yeah, this is how wrestling has always worked. There's always been somewhere else for somebody to go to. It just so happens there's a few more opportunities nowadays. Now we've got more promotions, you've got NXT UK, you've got AEW, etc., etc. There's just more places for people to go. But it's always been this way, that everybody has always been working to get to that next level. So, okay, there's probably more spots opening up than there was before, but it's no different. We've always worked up. We're always going to have to fill the spots. It's always going to be new talent, and it'll carry on that way. And as long as people are willing to embrace it, there shouldn't be any issues. The talent hasn't got worse over time. If anything, it's getting better because the teaching's getting better. And, everything that's gone on sort of over the last summer and stuff, there's a lot of changes, so it can only be better.
Yeah, for sure. No, well said. And again, back to yourself. There's something I wanted to sort of like clarify with you, because I couldn't find huge amounts of info on it. But before the pandemic, you won the Breed Pro Women of Steel Championship. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and is that because I looked at Breed's social media accounts? They've not really posted a lot since the pandemic started. Is Breed still going? Is it going to be back? Are you still like the holder of that title?
I'm still the holder, still officially. As far as I'm aware, Mitch would like to run again. Whether he can or not, we'll have to wait and see. I think he would like to. I don't think he wants to say, no, we're never coming back. That's the end of things. I think there's just a lot of things going on that the promoter needs to sort out before he can make any next steps. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Sure.
But I'm going to keep claiming that I've got that belt and keep adding the days on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You want to up that title reign as much as you can.
That's it, yeah.
And I mean, because that's your local promotion, isn't it, in Sheffield?
Yeah,
So
Sheffield,
I imagine winning that, especially before the pandemic with crowds being there, I imagine that must have been a proud moment for you, winning the title, hometown girl, done well sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it's quite a funny story with Breed because Mitch, the promoter, came to a Breed show. Came to a EBW show, which was my local training school, and he wanted to take somebody from the training school just to sort of have somebody local and kind of to just appease the local training school. And he said to me, "You," in the nicest way, he said, "You were the best of a bad bunch," and he kind of was stuck with me, if you like. He didn't tell me this till much later on, but that was the story I was told. And so obviously he took me, put me in various spots, and eventually I worked my way up to getting the title. So it was quite a nice moment to sort of say, okay, that might have been why you took me, but then I've proved myself so much that you'd now given me the title belt. So although it maybe didn't take me on for the right reasons, it gave me the chance to sort of prove him wrong and prove that there was more to me than what he seemed.
I imagine that's quite a nice feeling as well, right? Like where you can where you can turn to him and be like, "Told you."
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, and like you say, with it being in Sheffield, that's always nice. I was a little bit worried that maybe I was going to get cheered in Sheffield because I was from Sheffield, but it turns out everyone hates me so much that I didn't even get cheered in Sheffield.
Doesn't even matter.
No.
I was going to say, because I until you say that, I hadn't even considered that, but obviously that is a worry if you're a heel and it's a hometown show and people want to cheer for like hometown hero. It must be like you say, a little concern where you're like, hang on, am I going to have to like switch character for this?
Yeah, well, I didn't. I was just me, and they just hated me.
You're just so loathable, just generally.
That's it. In fact, there was a stage when they booed me for being from Sheffield.
Like, we don't want you representing us.
Yeah, so win-win for everyone, I guess.
Brilliant. Well, obviously you've had a great singles career, and you have a great singles career, but obviously you're very well known tag team wise as well. And we'll talk about both aspects of that. The first aspect I wanted to get on was sort of the way that you and I started interacting over Twitter was the article we put out with the couples tag tournament, where I tried my best to research it. I'm so sorry, but Cage Match just clearly have some sort of vendetta against you, where they're not publishing your tag wins with Brady.
I know, it's disgraceful. I said to him, I bet they've got it from Cage side, and I went and looked, and I was like, none of our wins are on here. It's as though they know that this was going to happen and we weren't going to have any wins. But I promise you, we've definitely won. When I was looking, I think there's a few House of Pain shows missing, and I think it's True Grit. We definitely won a tag match at True Grit. I can remember that. And then what was funny was the picture that you used for us. I didn't even realise, but Brady said, "We won that match."
Yeah, I saw him say that. I was like, "Oh no, that's even worse." Because I looked at this. You're gonna have to like now to let Cage Match know and to let anyone else who's writing about you're gonna have to put like won this match at the bottom of each picture.
Yeah. Just FYI, we did win.
Yeah, I did look through. I looked through like your social medias and Brady's social medias. I was like, I wonder if they say like what matches they've had and stuff. And then but. No, I do apologise, but let's talk about like a little bit about that article as well, because I think not to like brag about ourselves, but I thought we made a pretty solid bracket for that tournament. But how do you think you'd get on up against?
I think we'd win. We'd definitely win. We're the power couple, right?
Well, everyone said that, though, didn't they?
Alexis Falcon and JJ Webb say Ivy and Brady Phillips are the power couple. They can keep claiming it all they want. But
is this leading to some sort of grudge match here?
I hope so. we always, you can always tell if one of us posts on Twitter, the other couple, one of them's always responded to the other one. JJ and Brady are particularly bad at responding and asking each other for fights. So fingers crossed, somebody wants to use that match down the line, because we'd have a great time. I
mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I think we initially did the idea because I think it was Lucia Lee that started it. And yeah, I can't believe no one's done it before, because there's so many great, like you say, sort of like power couples in BritWres at the minute. But you could eat.
Breed was going to do it at one point.
Really?
Before the pandemic, yeah. Mitch, the promoter, had said to me he'd got this idea and he thought it'd be a really good idea and get all the couples in. And I have to admit, I was a bit like, oh, no, don't do that. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, actually, yeah, there's loads of couples that we'd like to wrestle. So yeah, let's do it. Somebody definitely should. There's a lot of quality couples.
There's a market for it.
Say that everybody, you've got Lucia and her fella, and that sort of area. That they're great. We should do it.
Yeah, there's definitely a market for it. Anyone who watches this who wants to run it, because we'll buy tickets for everyone. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, count us in. If anyone's running it, please count me and Brady in.
Oh, I mean, they'd be fools not to, wouldn't they? And then you turn up at the door anyway, wouldn't you? Just come in and be like, right, we're in this. This is
with the baseball bat. Try and stop me from getting in.
And we mentioned your singles gold. Whether it's with Brady or in Pretty Little Killers with Ruby, would you like to have a sort of tag strap around your waist as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's a funny one because I'm in 2 tag teams, but I've never been a tag team champion. So I think it's definitely I love tag wrestling. Tag wrestling is my favourite, and I love it both with Brady and with Ruby. It's 2 completely different tag teams. So having the 2 tag teams and being a singles wrestler gives me something different to do. It's always a different match dependent on which one it's with. So yeah, I'd love a tag strap, and just to be able to do sort of a good tag run. Maybe have a tag feud. We've not even had a tag feud with anybody where we've done more than 1 or 2 matches really. So something like that would be good, just to get a sort of run out of the tag wrestling stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't be a proper interview if I didn't put you on the spot for a little bit. So, I mean, if a company came to you and said they want to put their tag titles on you, but you got to pick whether you want it with Brady or with Ruby, who would you take?
Oh no, why have you said that?
I'm trying to get you in trouble with one of them.
I know you definitely are going to get me in trouble. I think I'm going to pick Ruby, just because Brady will forgive me more than Ruby will, and because other than the She-Wolves have obviously got the TNT tag championships now, so that's great. But until this last weekend, you didn't have any all female tag teams that were tag team champions. So it'd be good just to sort of challenge the status quo, if you like, and give the crowd something different. You don't see many all female tag teams, so.
I'm a little disappointed. That was a very diplomatic answer. I was trying to get you in trouble with someone, but it's very well worked around.
Out of the 2, it'd definitely be Ruby that would be more annoyed at me for picking the other one. So that's what I'm going with, and I'm sticking to it.
Sure, no, fair enough. And we'll talk about both teams, and obviously working with both. But with Ruby first, how did that first come about in terms of that idea to put the Pretty Little Killers together?
So it was quite natural, really. There's not really any big story to it. I worked Ruby quite early on into, I think I was probably only a year into it, and my training school brought Ruby in for me to wrestle, and we just got on really well. We had a nice little match, and I think we were at a Progress show, and I was in the crowd and she was in the crowd, and I was just sat with her and we were chatting, and then she was doing a show in Leeds maybe the next weekend, and said, you should come along, we can meet up, whatever. So that's what I did. And she said to the promoter, oh, can Ivy come in the match as well? And he just put me in. And that was it. We worked as, it was a 4-way, but we worked as like a tag team together because we were the 2 heels in the match. And we just said, there might be some traction in this because there's no women doing the tag team stuff. So maybe let's try it, see what happens. And we never look back, and now I can't get rid of her.
But it must be nice to have someone who is brought in, who you've not met, who comes in to sort of face you and to help you learn, and then you have that instant chemistry and it grows from there. That must be a really nice feeling.
Yeah, Ruby was my first match that I kind of went, oh, okay, that was good, that was all right. Whereas everything else I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. But Ruby was the first person that I wrestled where I was like, okay, now it kind of makes sense. And we just had this sort of natural friendship connection as well. People hate being around us because we have so many sort of in jokes and stuff where we can be laughing like hysterically for hours, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And we can't explain it. It's just we've just got too many in jokes that we're too obnoxious, and people don't want to be around us when we're together. But
but that's what makes you work. That's why you click so well.
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Better as partners or as opponents, you reckon?
Partners.
Yeah.
Partners. I think, yeah.
And what about...
We work well together, even when we train together and stuff now. It's always very easy. In fact, the match that you used the picture from, where we won the tag match, was myself and Brady versus Ruby and her partner James.
Right, okay.
So that was dead fun. Really, really fun to work. We played it like we were still friends kind of thing. It wasn't like bad guys, good guys, but that was a really fun dynamic to sort of play with. So that gave me a chance to do a tag match against Ruby, which was something new.
Yeah, I can imagine it's got to be weird after like tagging for so long that you're like, hang on, this is...
Yeah, because we were like, me and Brady are going to use that tag move that me and you use. Is that okay? Because obviously that's the tag moves we've got. So.
Fab. And what about with Brady? Because obviously you tag with him. You're his valet as well, aren't you, for some matches?
Yeah.
So what is that like in terms of, I guess, the whole dynamic about, sort of being with someone in a relationship, working with them at the weekends, tagging, valeting, whatever it may be. Obviously, I imagine it's nice to have all that time together.
Yeah.
But do you ever sort of...
means I think it means the chemistry is really good because obviously we've got natural chemistry. So I mean, I don't think that always does translate into the ring, but for us, it definitely has done. It's very easy, very straightforward. Just when I'm doing sort of the manager valet stuff, he just has to look at me, and I know what he's trying to tell me just by whatever face he's pulling to me. So whether that's "this is you" or "this is not going right, can you do this?" I just kind of know just by the looks that he gives me, because obviously I spend so much time with him and I know him so well. But it doesn't cause any arguments, actually.
Doesn't.
Surprising.
I was going to say, does there have to be like any office job? Does there have to be an element of like, don't take your work home with you?
No, do you know what? No, we're quite good. We don't bicker about wrestling at all. I think we think quite similarly with what we want from wrestling and what we like about wrestling. So we very rarely do we ever bicker about anything wrestling related. We bicker about everything else, about him leaving his clothes on the floor, but no bickering about wrestling.
That's the scoop for this whole interview. This is going to be the headline. Brady Phillips leaves his clothes on the floor.
He was complaining. So we've got pet rabbits. I've got 2 pet rabbits. And they're free roam, so they just run around complaining that there were holes in his trousers the other day. And I said, well, that's your own fault, because if your clothes weren't on the floor, then there wouldn't be holes in your trousers. So
exactly.
We're not punishing the rabbit because it's your fault.
Yeah. No, I have a similar conundrum with guinea pigs.
Yes. Yeah.
They just love chewing through it, anything like that.
Yeah. If you leave a foam wire on the floor, done.
Oh, I've lost so many. So many, it's ridiculous.
I have to have a box of phone charger wires, because do you know when you've just got one and something happens to it and you cannot find another one? You're like,
shit, my phone's going to die, I'm not going to be able to do anything.
Yeah. And they chew through them that often that I think I'm keeping Amazon in business for phone charger wires, because
another one's going out. What? It's got to be a misorder, right? There can't be another.
Yeah, exactly. They must think I've got something wrong with me. They're like, why does she keep doing this? What is she doing with all these phone wires? And I should just send them a picture every time, like the wire's cut in half.
Can you not just...
I had to order a new laptop charger for my work laptop. And I had to ring our internal help desk and say, my laptop charger's broke. And they're like, can you try this? And you could try that. And I would have to say, I can, but it's been cut in half because the rabbits have chewed through it.
Can you not get them on as say a Christmas present or something? Get them their own wire that they can chew on.
Yeah, I should. I definitely should. Just a big box of unused wires and just
love it. Yeah. That's the thing that confuses me most, right? Is because, admittedly, I'm a little messy. I have a lot of wires on the floor, but the phone one is the only one they'll chew through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is it about these other wires that you don't like?
Yeah. They mine the phone wires and any HDMI wires. So in fact, they went straight through the power cable for my Nintendo Switch, and I was
no, not the Switch.
The Switch, yeah.
Oh, that is gutting. That is.
And it was right in the middle of like Animal Crossing hype season, so I was like, I need to see my village today. I can't charge it up because you chewed through it.
See, I can't relate to that, but my partner can. I know that she'd know exactly what you're talking about there because she loves it. But no, the Switch is a great console. Awesome console.
To be fair, I only play on Animal Crossing because I just got that addicted to it. I've not even.
You don't even know what else is out there.
No, I honestly don't. I've got a few of the Mario games actually, but obviously I knew Mario from being young and playing Nintendo 64. But yeah, it was Animal Crossing, and it was devastating when they chewed through that.
I was going to say, is that not a rivalry for you and Brady as well, just on the Switch, playing games and stuff? Are you quite like competitive or?
We don't play games together on the PlayStation or Switch because we are too competitive.
Then there will be arguments.
The games that I want to play, he wants to play, like he plays like Call of Duty and stuff, and I want to play Crash Team Racing.
Sure.
I don't want to play Call of Duty.
Crash Team Racing is a great game. Oh, that is such a shout. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because he knows I'll beat him because I've got like some hidden talents. One of the hidden talents I have is Mario Kart. I am so good at Mario Kart. It's unbelievable. Like people are always like, yeah, you're not that good, and then they play me and I beat them by miles because I spent a long time as a student playing on Mario Kart.
Sure.
So he won't play me at things like that, but I think it's because he knows I'll beat him.
Is that something that, I mean, like you said, with that, I guess it's not the wrestling that will cause arguments. It's that will cause arguments with you guys.
Yeah, that would, because we played mini golf actually. We play mini golf every now and again.
Love mini golf.
He always beats me. But then this one time, a few weeks back, we went, and I didn't just beat him, I destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed him. And he's not heard the end of it ever since. So I can totally understand why he probably wouldn't want to play with me, because if I do beat him, then he'll be reminded of it every day for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Brilliant. And I guess I was thinking, I mean, is that something that, I guess, whether it's Switch or PlayStation or anything, is that something you can take to shows and like set up in the back for like, to like play with other people in the back while you're waiting or whatever it may be?
I've seen people do it with Switches. I've seen a few wrestlers and they've got Mario Kart and stuff like that. I have seen people do it. But no, it's not something that you do. We probably should actually. When you think about it, you definitely could set that up. But I guess you're just so busy backstage that you wouldn't have the time unless you were there particularly early. You just get so wrapped up in everything else that's going on that you probably just wouldn't have the time.
No, fair enough. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't mind paying to watch. Just like you set up the ring and everything, but instead of matches, you just got people playing Mario Kart and it's set up on like the monitor.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then then the fights can break out. Because
we'll do a couples tournament and then next show Mario Kart.
And that's when like the proper matches will happen, because you'll win and then someone will smack you over the head with a chair and you're like,
yeah. If somebody beat me at Mario Kart, I probably would smack them over the head with a chair because I'd be fuming.
That's why though, because video game anger is it's like a different type of anger, isn't it? Like if you lose at a game, it's a different type of mad to anything else.
It really is. It is.
Brilliant.
It's uncontrollable.
I think we've come up with two excellent show ideas here. Whoever's going to book them is going to make money. Like
exactly.
This is money right here. Yeah. And with we'll go back to teaming with Brady as well and everything. And when it's working together and like you say, you sort of get on quite well. Like obviously you get on well, but like you don't let the wrestling impact anything, which is obviously fab. But it must be nice as well to sort of be in that situation where you can be traveling together and have all that time together. And I guess, do you sort of strategically book your shows in terms of like where you can both work and certain weekends, things like that?
To be honest, promoters are very good with us, that if they book one of us, they'll try and have the other one on. So it means we can travel together. And even if one of us isn't booked, if the other one isn't doing anything, we'll normally go with them. Just to sort of see everyone and help out. Brady does a lot of agenting nowadays as well, so he will often come and agent some of the matches. If I'm booked and he isn't, I will go and just be there and be around wrestling if I'm not booked. But promoters are very good with us in that. I mean, it saves them money as well. Because
because they're getting two wrestlers, aren't they? Coming together? Yeah.
Yeah, so it does make it easier for us just having being able to travel together, and promoters being good with us and putting us on the same show.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I guess because if you don't mind me asking, like, what came first? Did you start working together first, or what was the relationship first?
Started working together as
Working together first. So,
manager and valet. Yeah.
was there ever that worry at the beginning that like it could impact things? Sort of like some people have a you don't date colleagues kind of rule sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's got to be that kind of worry. Just you never know what's going to happen. But I think we both said if we ever break up, we'd probably just quit wrestling because it wouldn't be worth the awkwardness of seeing each other then. But it was very organic. It just sort of happened naturally. So once you're in that position, there's no going back, is there? So,
well, obviously,
we joke about it every now and again, saying if anything ever happened, don't know what we do. We try and avoid each other at all costs, but fingers crossed we don't have to cross that bridge.
No, absolutely. Well, you guys, like, obviously, as a fan and from like social media and stuff, but you guys seem to have a great dynamic, and you're both great wrestlers as well. So obviously, we hope that you're both in it for the long haul, because it'd be disappointing to either of you have to leave.
Oh, thank you.
but I guess moving on from that, what are your sort of like hopes, whether it's tagging, whether it's singles, what are your hopes for like your future, say a year, 2 years down the line, now that wrestling's back?
I think I just want to get to as many promotions as I can now. I went through a stage of being sort of really conscious about, am I getting enough bookings? Should I be working at this place? Why haven't I got a contract yet? I'm 32 and that's it. I'm getting old, and I'm a female as well. So, sometimes it's harder for an older female. So I went through maybe a panic year, I think, and even in the pandemic, sort of worrying about what was next. And as we've come back, I've just sort of thought, why are you worrying? It doesn't matter. Like, I'm enjoying myself. I'm working plenty of shows now. I get to see my friends every weekend. I get to travel around with Brady. So why are you worrying about this? I've got my job. We've got our house. We've got the mortgage. Let's just enjoy it. Like, what I want to do is, I don't want to get to 60, 70, look back and resent any of this or think that I didn't enjoy myself. So now I just want to do as much as I can, so I don't have any regrets. Whether that leads to something bigger or not, I've sort of come to terms with, this might be all it is, and if that is all it is, like that, I'm happy with what I've done and anything sort of moving forward. So nowadays, I just want to get as many places as I can, so I can say, look at what I did.
Yeah, absolutely. No, brilliant. And we're going to end. We've got a little sort of, again, I'm going to have to put you on the spot, I'm afraid. But we've got a little feature here. It's called Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. And this is more shoot stuff. This is more what you'd feel rather than, say, Ivy would feel.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw some like scenarios out at you, and you let me know what comes to mind.
Okay.
So the first one is your favorite pre-show meal.
Pre-show meal?
Yeah.
As in, like, if we was watching like wrestling pre-show meal?
No. As in, like, if you go into a show and you're grabbing a bite before the show starts. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Porridge.
Really?
That's what I normally eat. Yeah, porridge, and then that's it for the rest of the day.
Plain though, or like flavored, or?
No, golden syrup.
Nice. Yeah, good shout. Because the next one is your favorite post-show pig out.
McDonald's.
Everyone says that. It's such a good shout.
McDonald's. It depends actually, right? So if it's late, so if you finish the show late, it's a McDonald's.
Right.
If you finish, so it's like an afternoon show, and then you get home at sort of like 5, 6-ish, Taco Bell.
Right, okay. So what's the difference there? What's the dynamic in that?
Because it feels like McDonald's is like an easy, just like nighttime pig out meal, whereas Taco Bell, I think I'm a bit more civilized if I have a Taco Bell.
It's a little messier, isn't it? You've got to be a bit more cautious.
Yeah, that's it. We've only just discovered Taco Bell, so we've moved house recently, and I've never had a Taco Bell before, and we discovered we could get it on delivery to our house. So we had this Taco Bell, and I think we moved about a month ago now, and I bet we've had 10 Taco Bells since we moved here.
Really?
Because we're obsessed with
You got hooked on it.
The afternoon show, we have a Taco Bell now.
Well, I mean, I'm in terms of that situation, I'm exactly the opposite because I moved to London recently from Brighton. And while we're on Brighton, if Josh Bevan from Riptide Wrestling is here, then he should book Ivy because, I mean, that would just be so much fun. And then where we were in Brighton had it, but we're in sort of on the edge of London, on the outskirts, and there's not a Taco Bell near us. So we've been gone from having Taco Bell a lot to now not being able to get it. And it was the worst thing. Like when we moved here and realised it wasn't on Deliveroo. Like it wasn't even something I considered to check. I was like, oh, yeah, it's London. There'll be a Taco Bell. It's fine. But there's not, and it is heartbreaking.
Oh, I feel you because we're obsessed with Taco Bell now.
No, I get that.
We used to have McDonald's all the time, but nowadays it's definitely a Taco Bell.
Really? It's overtaken?
Yeah. What? And do you know what? I don't even like churros that much. I'm not a massive fan, but the churros from Taco Bell.
Different world.
Yeah, give me the churros.
Well, I mean, before we move on to the next question on this list, again, you'll have to watch it on Sunday when it drops. But Mira Blair said McDonald's as well. She had some very controversial McDonald's views.
Oh God!
So prepare for that. But I mean, for yourself, what's your order? What do you get?
It depends, but I'd normally go if it's after a show, I'd go for double cheeseburger, fries, mozzarella sticks, and a McFlurry with a full fat Coke.
Full fat Coke as well.
Always full fat.
I don't know anyone who gets a full fat. Everyone goes. I don't know why everyone goes diet because it's not like what are you trying to save? But
no, give me full. Especially after a show, you kind of have an adrenaline come down.
Sure.
So I want that sugar. I'm addicted to Lucozade. So I have a rule where I can only have a Lucozade if I've done a match, because if I don't, I will just drink Lucozade the entire time. So you will always see me post-match with a Lucozade in my hand, and that does the same thing that a full-fat Coke does for me and just sort of replenishes that sugar that I feel like I'm missing.
Gotcha.
On the adrenaline come down. So if I can have a full-fat Coke as well, count me in. Yeah,
no, that makes full sense. And the mozzarella sticks are a great shout as well. Not enough people go for the mozzarella sticks, but they are banging.
But I always feel like I've got too much food and I don't need the fries and the mozzarella sticks, but I don't want to give up either. I wish I could tell you what Brady orders. I can't even tell you it's that much food. You would not look at that man and think he eats as much as he does.
Really?
But from McDonald's, he orders 3 meals.
Can really put it away.
Have all his sides. Yeah, it's unreal. He should be the size of a house with how much food he eats. And it really upsets me because I just have to look at a chocolate bar and put a stone on, but he's eating enough McDonald's for 4 people.
That is upsetting. Yeah. You'll have to find out and get back to us. You'll let us know his McDonald's order.
I will. I'll reply when you put this out. I'll reply and let you know what it is.
Fab. Well, the next one is music next. So it's the song that gets me hyped.
Someone that gets me hyped. Anything by Panic at the Disco because they're my favourite.
Yes.
So
you've saved yourself from the Kings of Leon stuff with that.
Thank you. Yeah, Panic at the Disco, my favourite. So if I've ever got headphones on before a match, it'll be some kind of Panic at the Disco.
Nice.
I'm not, to be honest, I've not my music taste has been the same since I was probably 16, 17.
No, same boat. Yeah. All emo, pop punk.
Do you know when you get your Spotify at the end of the year and it tells you your top 5 bands you've listened to, or they're the same every year, every single year.
Go on, who are they then? Because my next question on this is my favourite band, but you've already answered that. So
it's Panic, always Panic, Fall Out Boy,
yes,
Arctic Monkeys, but I'm from Sheffield, so
Sure.
And I'm embarrassed by this one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Is Justin Timberlake.
Oh, that's a wild card in that list.
Justin Timberlake's my favourite person in the entire world, so I'm not sorry for it. And then the Beatles is always number 5.
Shout, yeah. That's still an eclectic mix though, because you go for that sort of pop punk, emo rock sort of thing, and then you got a bit of pop, and obviously the Beatles. I don't know, I wouldn't class them as pop, but it's just that classic music sound, isn't
it? Yeah. But I see it every year and I think, oh, what's it going to be this year? And it's always the same. I'm like, you have not changed in 5 years.
No, I'm exactly the same. Always same 5, same 10 sort of top bands since I was 14, 15. Just doesn't change.
Yeah, that's it.
Next one is the movie that I'd show the locker room.
Mean Girls, because it's the best film in the world.
Is it, though? Is it?
Yeah, and I can recite it pretty much word for word.
Can you?
Really annoying. That and Shrek.
Shrek's great. First one though, or
Yeah.
the second one?
First one.
First one is a classic. I don't know. I think the second one is a worse movie, but I think it's got the lines I prefer more.
I think I've maybe not watched the second one as much.
Mm.
So because I know the first one like the back of my hand,
Sure.
that's why I think that's funnier.
Yeah.
I can recite it in everyday life. And sometimes I'll say something, I'll quote something to Brady, and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Why don't you know what that is? I don't think we could be together."
It's
anymore.
very clearly Shrek.
Yeah. He knows the Mean Girls ones though.
Oh, well, that's all right then. If he knows those, that's fine. That's more impressive, if I'm honest. Like, I couldn't tell you a single line from Mean Girls, but I could probably quote you Shrek.
Oh, you need to go and watch some more Mean Girls then.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I don't like films if I'm on it. I know that's controversial, but I can't sit still for long enough.
Sure. No, I get that. Yeah.
Films. He's always like, "Should we go to the cinema?" I'm like, "Oh, can I wear my pajamas? Because if I can't wear my pajamas, I'm not interested."
They should do that. I'm surprised that cinemas don't do that, like a pajama day sort of thing.
Yeah.
That would
Give
be
me
good.
a bed and pajamas, and I'll watch the film. But if I have to wear actual clothes and put makeup on, I'm not
worth
interested
it.
in the film.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, fair enough. I understand. I get you. Next one is my favourite way to relax.
Watching Friends.
Really?
That is literally all I do in the house is watch Friends.
I think I was more of a How I Met Your Mother kind of guy.
See, I've watched it all, and I don't dislike it, but I've gone back to Friends. I'll just watch it over and over and over again. Like the series I've got on Netflix, the series finished, and then I start from episode 1, season 1 again, and just do that.
I think I'm like that with The Office. Like, The Office is the one for me that's like that.
See, I'd not watched The Office until recently.
What do you think?
It's good. I enjoy it. We watched The American Office as well more recently.
Oh no, sorry. I mean the American one. Like
the American one.
Yeah, I think you just because it's longer, you get more character development and stuff. So it's...
Yeah. I like both of them. I think they're both very funny. So I definitely they're one of those things that if Brady's here, because he won't let me watch Friends when he's around. Because he says, rightly so, he says I watch it too often.
Sure.
He's probably got a point. So if he's in, we'll either watch The Office or Peep Show is kind of like background TV.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, but I just like to put something on the TV that I don't have to concentrate on and just chill out, because you just, with wrestling and work and whatever, you just don't get the time to do that.
Yeah, exactly. When you have your downtime, you want to make the most of it. You want to do something that's really going to just chill you out.
Yeah, but if somebody takes me to a spa, that's I'll go to the spa over watching Friends any day. Actually.
Really?
The spa. Oh yeah, I love spa.
I don't know about that. The idea of like massage and someone like stranger touching you, I'm like, oh no, like makes my skin crawl sort of thing.
It's a dream. I feel like if you're a wrestler, you get over weird people that you don't know touching you all the time.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
It just happens. So if you're gonna touch me, you might as well give me a nice massage.
I can't argue with that rationale. I can't argue with that. The next one is my first job.
My first job was at TK Maxx.
Sweet. Classic shout.
Yeah, so I worked there for ages, like 16 till whenever you finish uni, and then I got a full-time job. I was just picking clothes up off the floor, just constantly picking clothes up off the floor, because apparently people like don't understand how TK Maxx works, so they just throw things on the floor or take it to another side of the shop and leave it for no reason. And
now from what you said earlier about Brady, it seems like you're doing that again.
Yeah, that is very true.
Come full circle.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the best job I've ever had.
No, the first job never is it? First job is like, we've never spoken to anyone, I've never known anyone whose first job was like, they were like, oh, this was the best job.
Yeah.
Well, it just doesn't happen.
I think I worked there for six years.
That's a long time.
It just got me through uni and stuff. And so like I was only on like an 8-hour contract, so I only had to work 8 hours if I wanted to, which sounds like a dream now.
Take that right back.
Yeah, give me 8 hours of picking clothes up any day.
This could be sort of linked in with what you just said about the clothes, but the next one is my greatest fear.
Heights.
Is it?
Heights. Yeah. It's not heights. It's the fear of dropping.
Sure.
So if I'm in an aeroplane, for instance, that's fine because I can't fall out of it.
Right.
But if I was on like a tall building or something and I could fall, that's what I don't like.
That sort of like look over a balcony kind of fear of it.
Yeah. height and daddy long legs, actually.
Oh,
As
yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Anybody from the House of Pain locker room the other day will tell you, because I made quite the scene because there was a daddy long legs in the locker room, and I refused to be involved in anything until daddy long legs was removed.
No, that is, I feel you connection-wise exactly that. I'm the same. They freak me the hell out. I don't know. Like, and their movements are so weird. It's like they try and fly and they can't quite fly, and it's like, what are you doing?
Why can you not fly over there? Why have you gone like this into me? Oh no, horrible.
No, they are. No.
Daddy long legs.
I get you there. I get you there. Well, back to more pleasant things. Next one, the only two on this list that are to do with wrestling. The first is my favourite wrestling match ever. It doesn't have to be, well, it can be. It can be one that you've had, or it can be one that you've watched. Doesn't matter either way.
Edge versus Undertaker, WrestleMania.
That is a great match.
Is it 24? Was it 24?
20, yeah, it was 24. Yeah.
I think it's 24, yeah. Yeah, Edge is my favourite wrestler. And if I'm honest, I don't know if I ever got The Undertaker until I got a bit older. And I was never that bothered about him. And so as I watch things back, I go, actually, I get it. I understand why everyone really liked The Undertaker, but...
You were the one person that night cheering for Edge to end the streak.
Yeah. Do you know what? I thought I was dead cool, right? Because when I was younger, nobody liked Edge. And I was like, Edge is my favourite. No one likes him. And now everyone's like, we all love Edge.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was really cool.
It's because that's the thing, isn't it? Like, everyone around a certain age, when, like, you're growing up, Edge was always the heel. And so, like, you hate him. And that's why you say, you're like, oh, I love him. And that's why it's different. But looking back on it now, you're older.
But like I turned out, I think this is why Ivy is Ivy, because Edge was my favourite.
You're that Edge type heel. You're going to put Mick Foley through a flaming table. And
oh, I love that match. That match is so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like, I don't care that much for hardcore matches, but, good. Yeah. That was my favourite match for a long time. And then as I've got older, I've gone back and watched stuff, and I'm like, right, okay. I see why this one's good.
Sure. And the next one is for you. It's your dream match.
Nikki Bella, because look at your face.
I would love to. I'm just saying, I would love to see that, just because I think she'd be terrified. Like,
Nikki Bella is she's everything to me. I know it's controversial, but I love her. If it wasn't for Nikki Bella, I wouldn't have become a wrestler. So.
Really? That surprises me, because you're a very, like, obviously very different, like, style. Like, that's two very contrasting characters.
I think it was just sort of because I started quite late on. I was 27 when I started wrestling, and I think obviously, like everyone, I watched Total Divas and sort of saw the evolution of Nikki Bella, if you like, from the Bella twins to where she was when she retired. And I think it was just a bit of an inspiration to see that, like, she had all these people saying, you can't do it, you're just John Cena's missus, you this, you that. And she just kind of went, you know what, F you, look at what I've done. So I think as a 27-year-old woman, it was sort of an inspiration to say, okay, you can go and do that, whoever you are.
No, for sure, I get that. I mean, like, I was taken aback by first because, again, like I said, you're very differing in terms of, like, style and character. So, like, no one would ever guess that you'd, like, molded yourself on that, or that was your inspiration. But, like, you're totally right. She's so underrated, and she put in the work, and she deserved everything she got out of it. Like,
I think it's the work ethic that did it for me. That sort of, he kind of stepped back and went, okay, well, is she the greatest women's wrestler ever? Absolutely not. Probably not even in the top 15. But what she did in terms of the putting in the hard work and changing people's perception is an inspiration, I think.
I think that's an unfair thing, isn't it? Like, it's going off on a tangent. Because you see it a lot more, especially with female wrestlers, that if they look a certain way, people will assume, oh, they don't put the work in, they're not bothered, it's not, like, about, like, wrestling for them, which is totally unfair. And I think Nikki Bella falls into that category perfectly.
Yeah. And you definitely get, I've had it from other people saying you only get certain bookings because of your other half.
Wow.
So, and then imagine your other half is John Cena, so I see it on a smaller scale now. And then you look at it like that, you've got the most well-known wrestler of our generation, and he's your other half, then obviously that's always going to sort of linger over you. And even now she's not with him, she's still will get that.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, you against Nikki Bella would be a hell of a match. I just want to see that look of terror when you walk down the aisle with the baseball bat and you put it in your mouth, and she's like, "What?"
I don't know. I'd probably cry and be like, "I love you."
I'm sorry. That would be great. I mean, while we're on the baseball bat actually as well, another tangent, because I saw this sort of like Twitter exchange you had with someone a couple of days ago where you said you're asked about the baseball bat a lot, and you're asked about how you can put it in your mouth, and you say it's because you're hard as fuck, which you obviously are, and no one's doubting that. But I want to ask about like how long did that take? Like, because I assume that had to be a little bit of practice, right?
No. So I can't even tell you how it happened. The baseball bat actually belonged to. When I first started, I was in a faction. I was the valet basically. I did like the occasional wrestling, but I was the valet.
Right.
And it was my tag partner's baseball bat. He had kind of like a Joker sort of gimmick. So he had baseball. I don't know why he did the baseball bat, but he did. And he won some tag titles, so he couldn't carry the bat and the tag titles.
Right.
So he was like, "Pass me the bat." He carries the tag title. And then I don't even know why. I cannot tell you why. I just put it in my mouth one day. And it was like literally on an entranceway. It wasn't like tried and tested, like, well, maybe I could do this. It was on an entranceway, put it in my mouth.
Just like hit you, just like an instinctual thing.
Yeah, and then that was it.
That's crazy. Almost like when you give like a baby something and they like go to put it in their mouth, like just instinctually.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about me.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm just wondering, was it literally just I'm going to do this?
Yeah.
You're so lucky it came off. Like if it didn't come off, that would have looked awkward, wouldn't it?
I'd have looked insane, right?
Just chewing on a baseball bat.
Pictures back and was like, this might be, because it just gives, even if people maybe don't remember your name or any specifics, they'd be like, right, that's that girl that does this with the baseball bat.
Yeah, and that's
they'll pick up on that and sort of keep it in mind, I think.
Yeah, and that's just intimidating as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Like, no one would mess with you if they saw you do that. Because I'm like, how? How is it possible?
Heidi Katrina said to me the other day, so I was wrestling Heidi and she was in the ring and she was in there first before me and we got back and she was like, your entrance, I was in the ring like thinking, oh my God, that's so cool. As I was waiting for you to come, I was like, thanks.
It is great. I mean, you've got it nailed. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
So the final two are, again, away from wrestling, now to do with sort of living and travel. So the first one is my favourite place in the world.
Italy, I think.
Really?
Yeah, nowhere specific. Just I've been a few times and I just love it. It's just a beautiful country.
Nice.
I would quite happily go and live there if possible.
Well, this one, I'm going to ask for something different because it could still be Italy for this one, but I'd maybe go outside the box, something different. But the last one is my dream holiday destination.
Dream holiday. I want to go to Hawaii. Actually, what I want to do. Can I make a dream holiday instead of?
Yeah. No, sure, absolutely, yeah.
So we've looked into this. So you can fly from Japan to Hawaii. So what we want to do is fly to Japan and then go from Japan to Hawaii.
I am so glad my partner's not in the room right now because she would like drag me along with you. I'm sorry, like that sounds odd, but like she's like desperate to go to Japan. And for me it's the flight. Like I want to go to Japan too, but the flying kills me every time.
Yeah. I really want to go to Super Nintendo World. Now I've seen it.
Yeah. That looks crazy, doesn't it? We've seen videos on YouTube. It looks insane.
Yeah, so I think, obviously we want to go to Japan for the wrestling.
Obviously,
but the dorky side of me, the more dorky side of me wants to go to Super Nintendo World.
Yeah. Like my partner's interesting, not as much. I sort of got her into it, but like she's not at the level that I am. So like our deal is that we'll go for like G1 or something, and then we'll go to Super Nintendo World as well. And like tie it all in.
That's a good deal.
But if she heard that you had the idea of going to Hawaii after that as well, I'd be, oh my God.
Are we going on a couple's holiday?
Oh well, I mean, like I would be honoured, but I don't want to impose anything at all. Like, I feel like this has been a lot of fun, but I don't know if we're at that level yet.
Then you can join in the couples wrestling tournament when we get back.
No, I took no. I was offered once a chance to take a bump in the ring because like video editing and reporting is sort of like my day job. And I did I was like, oh, I know wrestling. I can do an easy report on this. And that was like an easy day at work for me. But they offered me to take a bump in the ring. And I was like, not a chance. Like, I've heard people talk about how painful that is. I'm not, not doing it. No way. I'm scrawny as hell anyway. Like, there was no way I was doing it.
No, that's a good decision. I don't blame you.
But no, Lindsay, Ivy, for anyone who's been watching and watched this long, thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure having you on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's been lovely chatting and getting to know you and knowing all about your career and how things evolve, and obviously, you know, your rabbits and how you need more iPhone chargers.
Yeah. Actually, the rabbit, one of them is called Bella.
Amazing.
I guess where that came from.
I wonder. Now I wonder. See, if you told me that at first, the Nikki Bella thing wouldn't have been such a shock.
That's true, yeah.
But thank you so much. I mean, we're going to leave it with a little promo time for yourself. If anyone sees you on a match, on a event card, and it's like, oh, I might go check out that event. Why is Ivy going to be the standout star of a show?
Because she's just a bit of a knobhead. Like, I can promise you, if you're in the crowd, I'll probably come and shout at you, tell you that you're wrong, because you will be wrong, I promise. So, you know, just come and we'll give you a good shouting at. That's what everyone wants from their wrestling shows, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll make sure that couples tournament and Switch tournament get booked as well. Like, this is our goal now. This is going to happen.
Definitely.
And we'll send you that. We're going to book it as well. Like one of our articles, we're going to properly fantasy book it. But
I like it.
I can't say you'll get any special treatment just because we've had this chat now. But we'll see.
I should get special treatment because me and Brady are the power couple.
The power couple. But everyone will say that. Everyone will say that. I don't know. We're in a rock and a hard place now with doing this. With starting this.
Everyone else is wrong. They're wrong.
There's only one. Only one.
Yeah. Only one.
Thanks so much. I'll let you get on and enjoy your evening. But I really appreciate your time.